In the middle of a brutal Everest blizzard, with winds slicing through his gear and snow blurring his vision, Joseph Callahan locked eyes with a figure that defied everything he thought he knew about the mountain. There, in the heart of the storm, stood a lone, white-clad silhouette, moving with a calm that seemed almost impossible in such chaos. Joseph had been scaling the icy slopes of Everest for days, driven by a desperate need to find his missing friend. They had once laughed about the mountain's challenges over hot cocoa in a crowded lodge, never imagining the silence and isolation that would come with each step higher. But now, as he climbed alone, the weight of worry grew heavier with every gust of wind and every crunch of ice underfoot. The higher he went, the more the mountain seemed to strip away his sense of safety. Each step was a mix of exhaustion and determination. The cold was relentless and the storm showed no mercy. Yet beneath the harsh physical battle, an equally unsettling mental battle was taking shape. Whispers, maybe just echoes of his own thoughts, made him wonder if the mountain was trying to tell him something, or if he was simply losing his mind in the relentless white expanse. As the hours passed, Joseph's focus narrowed down to the path ahead. He remembered the plan: meet his friend at a designated spot, then push on together. But the absence of his friend now felt like a punch to the gut, a silent reminder that something was very wrong on this mountain. Every shadow and every shifting cloud of snow seemed to carry a secret message, a warning that he was stepping into territory where human logic no longer applied. Then, in the midst of the swirling white chaos, Joseph saw it. At first, it was just a vague shape moving slowly against the relentless barrage of snow. But as he edged closer, every detail began to emerge. The figure was clad entirely in white mountaineering gear, a hood that swallowed any hint of a face, and large, opaque black goggles that reflected nothing but the storm's fury. It moved in a way that was disturbingly deliberate, as if it were both part of the mountain and separate from it. Joseph's first thought was that it was another climber. Yet something was off. The figure's steps were unnaturally measured, and as it drew nearer, an odd sensation began to seep over him. Despite the biting cold, a deceptive warmth spread through his limbs, a warmth so contrary to everything he felt that it nearly disoriented him. For a moment, the physical pain of frostbite and exhaustion was replaced by a soft, almost comforting heat that whispered promises of respite. But that comfort was a trick. As he stared, unable to tear his eyes away, the figure's presence started to gnaw at his mind. Its dark goggles hid an intensity that wasn't just visual. It was as if the figure was speaking directly to his soul without uttering a single word. The sensation was hypnotic. Joseph's thoughts became slow and heavy, each heartbeat echoing in his ears as the line between his own will and an alien influence began to blur. He struggled to focus, trying to convince himself that it was simply the effect of extreme cold and exhaustion. Yet every instinct screamed that this was something beyond a mere trick of nature. The closer he got, the more the hypnotic pull deepened. It wasn't a friendly pull. It was invasive, almost predatory, drawing him in with promises of warmth and safety that he knew he shouldn't trust. Time stretched out in those moments. The world around him faded into a dull background of white noise and swirling snow. His body felt strangely light, as if the weight of gravity was loosening its grip. In that vulnerable state, Joseph felt an almost unbearable desire to let go, to accept that fleeting warmth and forget about the bitter cold, the loneliness, and the terror of losing his friend. Every rational thought battled against the lure of that deceptive comfort. The figure took a step closer, and with it came an overwhelming presence, a silent command that demanded attention. The mountain, with all its indifferent cruelty, seemed to pause around them. For those long seconds, Joseph was caught in a battle of wills. He wanted to look away, to break free from the figure's hypnotic stare, but his eyes were glued to those impenetrable goggles. The contrast between the relentless wind and that almost serene, eerie focus created a moment that was both unnerving and mesmerizing. It was during this agonizing pause that Joseph's inner terror peaked. He could feel his heart pounding in his chest, each beat echoing the silent call of the figure. The warmth grew more insistent, like an invitation to give in and let the mountain take over. And just when it seemed as if he might succumb completely, a rough hand came down on his shoulder. The sudden intrusion shattered the hypnotic trance. Joseph jerked away, blinking hard as if emerging from a deep sleep. Standing behind him was an older climber with weathered features and eyes that had seen too many of Everest's grim secrets. The man's grip was firm, pulling Joseph away from the direction of the white figure. For a moment, the storm roared around them, and the only clear sensation was the shock of reality hitting Joseph's face. The white figure receded into the white madness as if it had never been there at all. The rescue climber, Mark, as he would later be known, didn't speak immediately. His silence was heavy with understanding, a shared knowledge of the mountain's capacity to play tricks on even the strongest minds. Joseph's breathing was ragged as he tried to shake off the lingering effects of that hypnotic encounter. Every nerve in his body still remembered the deceptive warmth and the intense pull of those hidden eyes. It was as if the encounter had left an imprint on him, a memory that he couldn't simply brush aside.
You nearly lost yourself out there. That thing, it's not just a man in white. You saw what it does, didn't you?
I almost forgot who I was. It gave me this warmth, this calm, like it was promising that everything would be okay. But it wasn't. It was like being tricked by the mountain itself.
Everest isn't kind. It has a way of messing with your head. I've heard tales, seen hints, but I've never seen it up close like that. You need to be careful. It doesn't give second chances.
I thought I was prepared for the cold, the isolation, but nothing prepares you for that kind of pull. I still feel it, like a ghost that won't let go.
Shaken by the encounter, Joseph's thoughts raced as Mark led him along a narrow, winding trail away from the spot where the white figure had vanished. The rescue had saved him physically, but the mental grip of that presence still clung stubbornly. Every step away from the encounter was a struggle against the memory of the hypnotic warmth and the unyielding gaze. As they descended, the grim reality of his missing friend began to seep in. The trail was littered with remnants of a hastily abandoned camp, equipment left behind, personal items half buried in the snow. Then, among the scattered gear, Joseph found something he had been dreading. A scarf he recognized as his friend's, and a weathered photograph of his friend laughing, full of life. The evidence was irrefutable. His friend had been claimed by the mountain long before Joseph had reached this fateful moment. The discovery hit him hard. In that instant, the hypnotic lure of the white figure transformed into a grim symbol of loss. The mountain, in all its indifferent cruelty, had taken someone dear to him, and the encounter was no longer a mere aberration. It was a warning, a reminder that not all who wander the slopes of Everest return. Yet, even as the sorrow of his loss settled in, Joseph couldn't shake the haunting memory of that encounter. The image of the white figure, with its impenetrable goggles and the unsettling warmth it exuded, remained etched in his mind. It was as if the figure had left a mark on him, a secret that he could never fully share, and that would always whisper at the edges of his thoughts. For days after the encounter, Joseph's world was a blur of cold, exhaustion, and the nagging question of what exactly he had witnessed. The terrifying encounter with the white-clad figure seemed to merge with the harsh reality of the mountain's indifference. Was it a ghost? A manifestation of the mountain's own spirit, or something far more sinister? A predator that preyed on the vulnerable minds of climbers. The ambiguity gnawed at him, leaving him with more questions than answers. Back at base camp, the story of that day spread quietly among the climbers. A hushed legend told around small campfires and in the quiet corners of mountain lodges. Joseph's tale wasn't just about survival against the elements. It was about the encounter that left him forever changed. In the end, the encounter with SCP-1529 wasn't just a moment in time. It was a lingering presence, a secret whispered by the mountain itself, leaving behind a trail of questions that no rescue or rational mind could ever fully explain. Thanks for watching this spine-chilling tale of Joseph's encounter with the King of the Mountain on Everest. If the mystery of SCP-1529 left you with goosebumps and endless questions about what really lurks on those icy slopes, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more eerie stories. Let us know in the comments what you think SCP-1529 truly is, and what secrets the mountain might be hiding. Stay curious, stay brave, and I'll see you in the next video.